the paradigm shift is also very important, to change your pattern,
I love that.
to change your lane, not to be doing the same things, and just unplug from the norm.
Hey guys, welcome to OBSHacks. Thanks for joining us again. For those of you who haven't yet subscribed to OBSHacks, you can subscribe below. My name is Adewale Adejumo. I am a digital growth consultant and an online entrepreneur. And today I'm being joined by a very good friend of mine, Bheki Langa. Bheki Langa is the CEO and the founder of MAPKZN. And MAPKZN is, Bheki is going to tell you a little bit more about MAPKZN later on. But today we're going to have a discussion around the advantages of intra-Africa trading and what MAPKZN seeks to achieve with the initiative. Yeah, man, Bheki, thanks for joining me.
No, thank you very much, Wale. It's a great honor to be here and to unpack the path that I'm in. Yes. So now, when you speaking of MAPKZN, the acronym, it stands for Maputo KwaZulu-Natal Trade Initiative, whereby it was sparked from a new corridor that was developed linking the region of KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa with Mozambique, the province of Maputo and city of Maputo. So one founded it, and I established I found partners in Mozambique which could complement us, and here we are.
Okay, so one thing I've always wondered was what was the starting point? What made you decide that you were going to create an organization called MAPKZN to promote intra-Africa trading between Maputo and KZN? What happened?
Something happened, yes. That's something. I guess it was based on my exposure to Mozambique. I've always been somewhat a person. Well, I think it comes from my father. My father from already 20 years ago, even though he's late. 20 years ago, he had wanted to actually have a king pie in Mozambique.
A what?
A king pie, the king pie franchise in South Africa.
Oh yes.
So really, at that time, my dad always had a desire to have a business there. So that somehow, later stages in retrospect, when I inspected, I think it all started from there. And then in 2014, I actually found myself selling my business. I had a security business, and I thought, you know what, it was just time to diversify and move on to something else. And I sought an opportunity in Mozambique where I went into logistics, and I explored logistics there. Things didn't go accordingly, but that gave me an exposure, and that I did not lose hope in that and take it as a negative. I took it as a learning curve. Fast forward to 2019 or end of 2018, where the corridor in Mozambique, or the bridge, the biggest suspension bridge in Africa, which was a linkage of Maputo, the city of Maputo, and the remote town suburb of Katembe.
Yeah.
Where before there was a ferry boat. You used to go with the boats. You used to carry people and cars across the channel just to get to the other side. So the bridge, was a solution just to link the two, the suburb Maputo and the suburb. Furthermore, with the highway linking to KZN through the Cozy Bay. So I saw that as an opportunity, as knowing that it was quite difficult for myself when I started business in Mozambique, with regards to the know-how, to comply with the law, and even to get the right people, the business people. There's a lot of barriers, language barriers.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, it would be an ideal opportunity for myself to actually set up something that will create be like some sort of a gateway or a solution, a go-to shop whereby people consult with us and we can connect them, especially business. When you're starting a business, we can assist you and guide you or the right opportunities and link you to the right people. Yeah. So it started from there, just trying to create a solution out of a new path.
Okay, so let me just get this right. You wanted to create a solution to make it easier for you to trade, and then it ends up blowing up into what MAPKZN is today.
Correct. Yeah. So I guess the trade aspect, the economical aspect, is the one sphere of it. I mean, also with regards to just cultural integration, I think the word integration is more key. When there's a new corridor linking countries, or two regions, cross-border regions, there needs to be some sort of integration, and you can't just look at economical or business. You've also got to look at the elements of the socio-economic impact, and cultural, and how you can bring about integration to people. The two regions in all levels, not just looking at trade.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you find partners that side?
Well, I guess from actually traveling to Mozambique, because I didn't stop. I was always in Mozambique. Be it on holiday, visiting, and interacting with people. My networks over the time grew in Mozambique, and
so it was one, building your network.
Yes, correct.
And increasing your circle of influence, essentially.
Definitely. So that actually also helped me now to identify the right people who could complement the platform that I'm in, because there are so many people in business, but to get the right people who can complement you, and it wasn't necessarily about their size or whether they were big corporates or not, but it was about the value that they could add to MAPKZN.
Yeah, I've actually met some of your partners, and they seem to be equally invested in this initiative.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, which is something that is very, very rare to find. When you're looking for people to partner with, it's always either one side is is more invested than the other side.
Correct.
So on your side, you've been very lucky.
Yeah, luck is the word. You know what? When you're starting a relationship with someone, you take them not necessarily at face value by what they tell you, but now when it comes to implementing and rolling out whatever it is that you're planning, things change, But so far, we've been fortunate that we have actually there's been a connection between the two entities. The two entities being MAPKZN and Media Vital in Mozambique. So they were operating company, and they were the entity that I identified, or even the individuals running it.
Okay.
Complemented. So yeah, we've been fortunate so far, and yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let me just move on to the next question, which is who are your target market? Who are the people that you would want to come on to, that you want to attract with the MAPKZN initiative?
Okay, when it comes to our initial target market, maybe I think I would start it by just giving an idea of our business model, just to give you a better understanding, you and the audience or the viewers. Our model is somewhat like similar to a business chamber. For instance, you've got your Johannesburg Chamber of Commerce, you've got your Durban Chamber of Commerce, Zululand Chamber of Commerce, which looks at the interest of the businesses, the interest of the businesses or the subscribers in that region and getting them business and so forth. Whereas in ours, it's more on a corridor basis. It's not a matter of geographically a certain area whereby we targeting Durban businesses or Zululand businesses. This is more like on a corridor now. When you're talking corridor, you got to also factor in that there's Mozambique, and now there's also South Africa, or should I say KwaZulu-Natal province and the Maputo province. So Maputo is a city, and there's a Maputo province as well. Yeah. So with regards now to our target market, we're looking at integrating the two regions. So now when we're integrating, we cannot just look at agriculture or manufacturing. It's also on an educational level, whereby currently, as you're already aware, the University of KwaZulu-Natal is one of our strategic partners,
Yeah.
And, they obviously they don't manufacture, they're institutes, so it's educational based. So we've even sat with them and spoke about or are strategizing on actually plugging into the market in Mozambique, whereby they could actually get learners from there, or they could start programs with possibly a university in Mozambique, the likes of Adewale University.
So almost like creating an ecosystem.
Correct. Synergy.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily that we are targeting agriculture and getting products exported to Mozambique, or vice versa, importing products from Mozambique to here, which is also the basis. It's a two-way stream, whereby we export, be it services, knowledge, or products, but we also equally import. So it's a balanced trade of knowledge, trade of services, trade of commodities, and so I think with regards to that, we targeting a multi array of services and sectors. We're not just limited to one. It's all about integration. I'm hoping that's clear.
No, definitely clear. I'm also just wondering as well that with everything that you're doing, because you are not just doing MAPKZN, you've also got other things that you do on a daily basis.
Correct.
Like where do you get the motivation or the inspiration? Where does that come from?
That's a tricky one. That's a curveball. I never really thought of it, but I guess you know what. It's all embedded from my past. It's embedded. It's got to do with my background. I've been in business for some time, and I know that at times, when you find something as unusual as the space that I've just found, sometimes people don't understand, but I've found motivation in actually in going with it from reading books, seeing what other people have done in similar situations, whereby all odds were against you, people didn't understand you, but as long as you understand yourself. So I've somewhat been able to connect with that with regards to using my past, my exposure and my business experiences and my reading books and doing research, and also looking at similar corridors as well, knowing that
so you did a lot of like upgrading of your software, which is your knowledge about the thing that you wanted to do. And then let me just take a guess, and then you set a goal of what you set out a goal of what you want to accomplish. And then every single day you take small action steps for you to actually accomplish that goal.
Correct. Because another thing, it just naturally happened. But I guess it's, as I'm saying, it's got to do with my past and my background and my exposure and the content that I've taken on, and knowing the value that the platform is bound to have. I guess that was also another core driving factor, knowing what it could mean to people. Especially since as well I had been exposed to business in Mozambique, and I knew the troubles that I went through. You knew where the challenges. So I also did not want people to go through the same challenges.
So obviously there's passion in there as well.
Correct.
So okay, I'm just trying to understand all the ingredients that makes you the driven person that you are, because often what I often see, especially in our business, is you find people who have zero passion for even e-commerce, and they just want to start an e-commerce store, and they just throw around the word drop shipping, and without really doing without doing their research, learning how to actually run an e-commerce company, and they just want to dive into it because of that word drop store. So sorry, my bad, drop shipping. Okay, same way people want to jump into things like forex, and people want to jump into things like Bitcoin trading and stuff like that, without actually understanding what actually goes on behind. Joining the bandwagon. Okay, so for you, it wasn't just about joining. It wasn't just about jumping onto the bandwagon. It was one, you first had a passion for what you currently are doing. In order for you to make sure that you become successful at what you're doing, you spend some time doing some research and gaining some knowledge and understanding, and you keep bringing up your past. Can I dive into your past, or is it too dark?
No, my past is very, for me, it's alright. It's not bright, but it's a past.
Yeah. So, like you keep saying, like, you know, a lot of where you are now is because of your past.
Yeah.
What key things happened in your past for you to now be this person?
Well, I guess I would start it from even after high school. After high school, the first thing I did with
that was like 20 years ago, right?
Yeah, that's 20 years ago, man. Yeah, after high school, I left and I joined the British Army. So I left when I was 19 years old. So really, that was like, you know, out of your comfort zone, go and explore, you know. So I joined the army and...
Did you join the British Army? How did you join the British Army? Are you British?
No, mate. Not at all. I'm as African as it gets. Yeah, but there was an opportunity. They were actually recruiting. The British is made up of Commonwealth soldiers, quite a lot. They contribute to quite a significant amount of their numbers. You know, I mean, so there were some British Army, South African British Army soldiers that were recruiting. So my former business partner was exposed to that, and he influenced me, and I jumped to the occasion, you know, because I was always somewhat a person that always wanted to explore, you know. So even when I was there, I did quite a lot of traveling. I stayed in Germany and I traveled the world, you know, so I went to many, but more of that, what's most important is interaction with people, the people element, you know, people from different countries, people from different backgrounds, their perceptions of certain things. I guess that also broadened my mindset, you know. And that now, when I came back, I started a security business, because I had been in the army, I had exposure, I'd been to the Iraqs, you know.
You were in Iraq?
Yes, I was, but I was in the road logistics, so I was in the support, you know.
Okay.
I was a supply specialist in the road logistics, and so with that, we started a security business with my partners, and then we ran it for like almost 7 years, but I could see it wasn't my passion, you know. It was time now to move on, you know. So but to answer your question, I think my exposure, but even within the 7 years, I was always traveling. I was always had the desire to travel to other African countries, you know. So I think it all started from there. Yeah, I think it all started from there. What really pushed me.
Okay, and I suppose you got a lot of training because even from high school, you were a sportsman.
Correct.
You were a sportsman. Yeah, you were pretty good.
Yeah.
You were never faster than me. Okay, let's just
We never raced.
we never raced.
Yeah,
but still I was faster.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But joining the army, that must have also instilled a bit of self-discipline as well in you.
Yes.
Okay, which is obviously one thing that contributes to you waking up and actually going after your goals and going after your dreams.
Correct.
Every single day because of that self-discipline.
Yeah. You know, I correct. You know, sometimes even 10 years later, I find myself, this thing happens naturally. At times you can't connect what it is that you learned at that time, but these things just happen. It's like they're seeping underneath, or something is happening, brewing underneath that you actually learned and that you're applying, but you're not aware, you're not conscious of it. So it's quite a few things that I'm actually much later I'm realizing actually the army helped me. Even high school, the school that we went to, I mean, the discipline, you know, the sports, they contribute, you know, and sometimes you realize later, you know.
You know what you just said now? It's actually very, very powerful.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I got to realize last year and quite late in my life, and although I realized that a lot of people still do not actually understand or realize this, that a lot of us are living life in in a way where we are letting life happen to us. We like, although we're going through life and we're growing through a lot of the pain that actually happens to us. Okay, and for me, one massive transformation that I underwent through last year is what I call my awakening, where I took control of my life and the direction that my life is going to, and not so much of letting life happen to me, with what you said, where there are a lot of lessons that we learn, and we tend to apply those lessons, but those lessons that we learn, it often happens through sort of painful experiences. And it's something that I also read about called Kensho and Satori. It was actually from a book by Vishen Lakiani, okay, where Kensho is where it basically defines that there are two paths to growth in life. The one path is growth through pain, and one path is growth through awakening. And the path through pain, that's Kensho, which is where a lot of people, about 97% of people in the world are currently experiencing. People will always say, the universe has a plan for you. Yeah, man, a painful ass plan. Okay. And people will continue growing. We will continue to grow because of all this, universe shaping us, because there are rules to how to live your life very, very well. And then there's Satori, where Satori is growth through awakening. Okay. And that's when and that's when you have a clear path, you have a clear goal, you are happy. You live in a life based on, or you live in a life where you are in control, where you have a plan, where you are working on your knowledge, where you learn where you love, you learn to love, where you learn to forgive, you let go of, and also encompasses also some spirituality as well. And for someone who's not spiritual, just this almost like a delusional belief in yourself that you can do anything, that you can accomplish anything. But obviously with all those factors coming together, and if you are growing via Satori, you will be able to look back and go, okay, look, the past 2 or 3 years, these were the exact key steps that I took for me to get to where I am now, because you were in control. It's not the universe shaping you. It's not life knocking you here and there. Okay. So what you said just now, that's actually quite powerful, man.
Powerful. Actually, I'm learning, because I mean, both those principles are very important. You got your different type of people in the world, in the universe. So some I could already connect with myself with both of them. That before, obviously, I'd learning by error, but now I'm also getting to a point now. I'm actually more disciplined. I know how to map my
discipline is a very, very important word, man.
To be in control as well. But also at some stage within that, the paradigm shift is also very important, to change your pattern,
I love that.
To change your lane, not to be doing the same things, and, just unplug from the norm and just explore, that's very important. Be it even in traveling or just doing something that you were not used to doing, or even reading or even hiking, that will somehow also attribute to or contribute to your business approach in many things, So
that changes your approach to business, to life, especially the reading part.
Yes, correct.
If you're able to look at yourself and to look at where your shortcomings are, that requires what's that word? You taking responsibility for yourself.
Yes, correct.
Okay, if you're able to actually see those things in yourself, it allows you to then start to make the changes to actually, to improve. Maybe it's your communication with people.
Correct.
Maybe it's your
No, you're correct. You need to take ownership.
Take ownership.
Yeah. Don't. The blame game. Yeah, it's getting old now.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Pointing fingers and blaming the economy. You must just look at yourself. Do introspection. Very important. Therefore, once you rectify your own problems and you actually not in denial of your actual
your shortcomings and stuff like that,
then you can move forward. So.
Yeah, and you seem to me like someone who is self-disciplined, someone who has goals, someone who plans, and you're not just a planner, you're also a doer as well. Because, dude, I'm like, wow, I'm amazed at how far you've come with the initiative that you've taken so far. So dude, I just want to commend you on that, man.
Thank you
I just
very
want
much.
to commend you on that for being an awesome fucking person.
Well, we draw inspiration from you guys as well. Well, I mean, the space that you guys have been involved in, and with your drugstore. So, that we are, there's a Zulu saying that umuntu ngabantu. You're not just an individual. You are who you are based on the community at large. As Zulu saying, so
also sorry, carry on.
Yeah, with that, it's like I acquired a lot of knowledge. I looked at people such as yourself and people doing it. Amidst not following the bandwagon, the normal path. Where you stand.
Not succumbing to peer pressure.
Yeah, and you could stand to be subjected to people. Not understanding or thinking what is Wally doing, who does he think he is, so that those negative views. But you actually, you surpassed that. So I draw inspiration from that as well, Not looking what's the buzzing going around, just soldiering on, and as long as your determination or your goals, pushing through.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah. So that's that, man. Yeah.
Okay, so. Back to MAPKZN initiative.
Yeah.
If I want to be part of, actually, is there a way for anyone to be part to join the MAPKZN initiative? Trade initiative.
Yes, MAPKZN trade initiative. So currently, what we're doing, what we've already done, we have we prior to even launching, we thought with my partners in Mozambique that it would be important to have an event. As a start of everything that will bring the two regions together, be it the Mozambican or Maputo region to KZN. So we had an event in Richards Bay, and where we had conversation of how we are gonna do it. We were inclusive. We did not just get certain corporates involved. So it was open to the public, and we had quite a significant number of businesses from Mozambique coming through and converging with the KZN, and some companies coming from Joburg, to engage on how we're gonna do this, what opportunities are there, and so forth. So that was the first event, and also networking, expanding networks, and so that people gain confidence. So that was the first event that we had, and then
so almost like a focus group as well for you guys. Correct. To get a lot of feedback.
Yes, correct. Hence, we got a lot of feedback. I mean, there were forms that people filled in, and just to give us comments, what they felt and what they're looking forward to. And 99% of it, was only positive, and the people were looking forward to the second leg of the event, at which we promised them. The second leg being in the Mozambican side, where we're taking KZN or South African businesses to Mozambique, to engage on just general business, what opportunities there are, what challenges are there, how can we make this corridor conducive, and to develop certain regions. So those are the current activities. So currently we've got our event coming up in Maputo, which is that second leg, and then after that, then we will launch, and once we have launched, then we will open it up to the public in Mozambique, or businesses in Mozambique and in KZN or South Africa to subscribe, to get more information about what opportunities there are, and at times we'll have trade missions to Mozambique, to expose them to certain markets there. There'll be quite a lot of activities, or maybe a company coming to us.
So companies from South Africa who want to get exposure to the market in Mozambique, and
Correct.
Companies from Mozambique who want to get exposure to South Africa as well.
Correct.
And where would anyone right now be able to find you guys, either to follow you or to be able to get more information when you actually do launch?
Okay.
Where can they find you?
Well, currently we're quite busy. We are utilizing the tool, the social network tool, Facebook, to communicate a lot of activities that we have, which is the one platform we've seen. We also, which will be hashtag MAPKZN.
MAPKZN?
Yes, and also on LinkedIn, which will be, you can search for hashtag MAPKZN, just to keep informed with regards to our activities, you know. And also our website, which is still getting built, it's www.mapkzn.org. So that is our website. So those are currently the platforms where you can get the information, on the digital space.
Okay.
So that's where you can get it.
All right. Before we go, I want to hear your views on the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. How is that impacting what you guys are doing? Or what can you just tell us about that? What's your view on that?
Well, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, it's the biggest free trade agreement in the world. You know, with correct me if I'm wrong, it's plus minus just over 1 billion people. Over
a billion.
Yes, just over.
The exact figure, I know it's 1 point something billion.
Yeah. So with that being said, I mean, it's the next big thing for Africa. You know, I understand that it's still going to have its challenges with regards to it being rolled out efficiently. So I think what it seeks to do, you know, it is just ideal for Africa to grow. It's one of the solutions whereby it looks at removing tariff and non-tariff barriers between the African countries, whereby a lot of trade between the African regions have been bottlenecked by barriers, you know, policies or tariffs, which made it non-conducive for countries to trade to the optimal, you know, or to the most best, you know. So it wasn't enticing, you know. What you had is, like, for instance, South Africa importing some products from European countries where they could have imported them from Mozambique or Botswana, you know, you know, or whereby Botswana wasn't importing certain goods from us. I'm just being hypothetical, you know, getting it from outside of Africa. So now this is promoting intra-Africa trade, you know, whereby by removing that, now it will encourage more trade, also encouraging industrialization, whereby we process goods and they export them to each other as well, you know. So also creating jobs, you know. Once you're talking about industrialization, you're talking about job creation, which is the biggest issue in African regions, you know. Quite a high unemployment rate, for instance, here in South Africa as well.
Okay. Yeah. See, I am all for the African free trade that long ass word. Okay.
that one.
Okay. I'm all for it. However, there are, you know, we can't ignore the fact that that free trade agreement is also going to impact a lot of smaller businesses where big businesses from other countries can, you know, would now be trading into say South Africa is trading to another West African country, for example, that is not as advanced, you know, with their industrialization. And I'm going to use poor ladies who are, for example, maybe they are making onions or something in like West Africa, and that's their livelihood. And now how do you like, we need to just be aware that now there could be some, you know, big companies, for example, South Africa, importing into those areas and now taking away, you know, like livelihood. So, you know, like, have you like thought about that? And
no, we definitely have, and I think with that being said, because there's an opportunity for countries. It's all to do with policies now. Country by country has an opportunity to fine-tune their policies as well. The African, which fall under the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. So a country will also have its policies where it should look at the inclusivity of its informal suppliers or informal businesses, and seeing how they get plugged into the value chain, whereby they are not at risk of being shut down just because a South African firm in Sandton with in the JSE is exporting certain products which are also produced in that country as well. So it will be that will be defined by the policy per country. It will be for a country to also to be mindful of its small businesses, which is very important.
So what does the African Continental Free Trade Agreement mean to MAPKZN?
It couldn't have come at a better time. Probably some people would think that we lined up the initiative because of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, but it was all just coincidental. But what it means for us, we have also sat down in the drawing table and seen what role we can play on a regional level, because even the space that we're playing in to connect the two regions, Mozambique and KZN and the Maputo regions, the AfCFTA, or AfCFTA as it's abbreviated, would also apply there, whereby people need to know what the AfCFTA means for them, for businesses, to unpack.
What is AfCFTA?
AfCFTA being the abbreviation for African Continental Free Trade Agreement.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So ours as well will be to play a role to demystify the policies, and to unpack it for businesses, what it really means, and how to simplify it for them. Whereby now we would sit. Our role is also to sit in conferences and meetings of the SADC, the AU, and the AfCFTA as well, to understand, to get a better understanding, and so that we can better inform the people subscribing to us as well. So for us it's to complement the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, and seeing how we can being a regional player on the ground, doing the groundwork to assist with the trade.
So aren't you also sort of like the voice for the people who are part of the MAPKZN initiative, where you get input, where you get feedback from them?
Correct.
And you're then able to then lobby governments and
Correct.
try to make sure that regulations and policies are in favor of the people who are part of the organization.
No, I guess that's also a cornerstone, to be the voice and to relay the message or the sentiment of the businesses, because obviously they're the ones that it's created for. So now when they whatever they encounter on the ground, or unsuitable conditions, or something that is somewhat drives them away from trade or whatsoever, or whatever they encounter, it's for us to lobby whatever government, and to remove those bottlenecks, and just to give them feedback on what it means for the guys on the ground. Because obviously with the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, there's still going to be some turbulence, such as any agreement, and it would just be fine tuning, and part of the fine tuning will be us giving the right bodies such as AfCFTA the feedback of our followers, what they're encountering, what they're experiencing, and governments as well, so
okay.
Yes, that's it.
All right, man. Bheki, thank you so much for joining me today. And for viewers who are inspired by you and who want to learn a little bit more about you and what you're doing, where you take your family for breakfast and lunch, for your stalkers, where can they find Bheki Langa?
Well, they can. One thing I can tell you, they can find MAPKZN on our Facebook page, and
insert your security background come into play there.
and they can find us on LinkedIn as well.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm on Facebook.
Are you on LinkedIn?
I'm on LinkedIn.
As?
My LinkedIn name is Bheki Langa.
Bheki Langa.
Yeah, and my and then also on you can just search #MAPKZN on LinkedIn. We've also got a page there. Just to follow on our activities and the news and what's happening in that space, in the intra-Africa space. We like publicizing news around that space, So on Facebook as well, #MAPKZN. you'll get me there.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, Wale.
Thank you so much.
No, it was a pleasure, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching and joining us on this episode of OBSHacks. And if you are looking to connect with me as well, you can find me on Twitter, and my handle is Wale Adejumo, and on Instagram it's the real Wale Adejumo. Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe. It's the right thing to do.